Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's podcast recording on the Speech and Language Kids podcast. We are here to talk about themes today. So we're going to be talking about 3 ways that you can use themes in your speech therapy sessions. Hey, Tammy, welcome. I see that you're in here with me live. You can pop into the chat and say hello, and let me know if you have any questions as we go along. All right. So I'm super excited about today's podcast because I feel like this is one that I've talked a lot about in the past, and we get a lot of questions about. And everybody wants to do themed therapy because it's so fun and it gives our clients something that they can hold on to, and it relates to something in their life. And it's really fun to use themes. It's not so much fun to set themes up and to be able to use those themes in a way that doesn't feel like extra work on you. And so it's a topic that I've struggled with in the past because I want to use themes, but I don't have time or I don't have the energy to set it up. And so today we're going to be talking about how do we use themes without burning out, meaning how do we make it simple and easy to use themes. And fortunately, there is some really great technology and options available to us right now that we can incorporate themes into our therapy, help our students have something to kind of latch onto and connect the ideas that we're talking about to without adding a ton of work to our plate. So that is what we're going to talk about today. Okay, so let's talk about why we like themes. Why are themes helpful? So themes are a really great way to tap into something that's going on in the child's world right now. So often our themes are based on the time of year or the season. They may be based on a holiday or some sort of event that's happening maybe in school or in their real world. And so we can use things that are happening in their world right now, which helps them make connections. So last week inside our hub, our theme was virtual field trips. And I keep using this example because I absolutely loved it. We had such a great time. But the idea is that if our children have experiences and background knowledge that they can tie to what they're hearing, what they're learning, and what they're working on, it actually builds more connections in their brain, and it helps them retain that information better, and it helps them comprehend what they're hearing or what they're reading. And so there's all these amazing things that happen when we start to connect different parts of the brain together. So if we can come up with a theme that is related to something that they already know about, they're already talking about, they're already interested in, then we get to build a little bridge, right? And the more of these bridges we can build, the better their brain is going to be functioning because there's all these connections that they can use to understand the world around them. So seasonal themes are amazing because they're going to build on what they're seeing and experiencing right now. If you are in a place and it is winter and there is snow on the ground, then building snow into your themes connects what they're seeing in the real world with what we're talking about in therapy or what they're learning in the classroom. And so bringing in those kinds of themes can help with things that they are seeing in the real world right now. All right, so that's one way to do it. But another thing is to use classroom themes. And so a lot of times our classrooms may have an established theme where they say, okay, our theme right now is this, where everything is all apples and, in September when we're going back to school. And so you can tie it based into whatever the theme of the classroom is. Or you can look at units that they're doing. So especially if we're working with older students or teens, maybe they're not working, maybe they don't have classroom themes. Everything's not snowman themed, right? But they are learning about specific things. So maybe they have a social studies unit that they're doing on Pompeii. Maybe they have a science unit that they're doing on volcanoes. And so we can use the information or those topics that they're doing in their units and then pull that into our sessions as well. So once again, we are piggybacking on what they're already learning. We're reinforcing what they're learning in our sessions, and then we're tying all of that together with whatever speech and language skills that they need to be working on. And so we're going to see better progress when we're tying it into something that they're working on. But there's also this chance for carryover where when they go back to their classroom, they remember how we talked about sequencing and putting these 3 events in order or whatever it was. And then they're able to use that again the next time it comes up during their classroom. So now we're building on each other, right? And we're building bridges that way, which is even better. Okay, so that's another way to do it. Now, the last thing that I wanted to bring up for themes is it doesn't have to be a time of year or seasonal. It doesn't even have to be tied to something that they're doing in their classroom. It could be tied to something they're interested in. And so a lot of times we pick themes that are relevant to the children in our groups. I cannot tell you how many times we have done Pokemon themed therapy activities because the kids all came in with their Pokemon cards and I said, okay, cool, let's use your Pokemon cards to practice your skills. And so, sometimes we played a little game. Sometimes it was just talking about the cards or sharing information about different Pokemon. But we can use things that they're already interested in and we can tie those together. I'm curious if anyone out there was using 6-7 as a therapy theme, because that's been a big one recently. I feel like it's finally starting to to fizzle out where we are. But yeah, just using something that they're already interested in, because that's going to get you that engagement and that participation. And that's what's really key to helping them make progress on their skills, is if they want to work on them. So if we tie it to something they love, some theme that they're interested in, then we can also get more engagement that way. All right. So yes, we know all about why themes are amazing. That's why we love them. But let's talk about how do we actually put this to work? How do we use these themes in a way that doesn't overburden us, doesn't add more to our plate? So I have 3 strategies for you today to help you use themes more effectively and efficiently. So the first one is using AI to create themed practice materials. So AI is amazing at coming up with things just very quickly based on a whole bunch of different parameters that you can set. So you can say, I need a word list of single words that all have the R sound in this position and are all related to Minecraft, right? So you can give it a whole bunch of different parameters, and in just seconds, you can have AI come up with a really great therapy material that you can use to practice those skills. Hi, Madeline. Welcome. Madeline and Tammy, if you guys have any questions as we go along, you can pop those into the chat. All right. So AI, amazing for this, right? There's lots of different ways that you can do this. We obviously have like ChatGPT is one. Claude is one that I've been using recently that I've been enjoying quite a bit. And actually, the cool thing about Claude that I have found is you can actually have it create interactive activities on Claude. If you are a little more proficient with AI and you have some experience and you understand how to build prompts and that kind of thing, that is something that you could even build interactive things. But you guys know, me, you know my style. I really like paper. All the research shows that when children are doing things on paper with real pencils, there is a better learning outcome than if they are doing something on a screen. So don't lean too heavily into the interactive stuff. It's fun every once in a while, sprinkle it in. But you can use paper materials, you can use paper activities or real life tangibles and toys, right? Things that they use their hand to manipulate, because all of our children need to work on their grip strength right now. And so we can use that, but we can have the AI create the practice materials. So word lists, pictures, have them describe something in a picture, but you could say, I need a picture that has Minecraft and R words, et cetera, et cetera. Social scenarios, you can have it create social scenarios about real world challenges that they're struggling with right now. Or let's say we're having a theme that's based on a field trip we're going to be going on soon. Maybe we're going on a field trip to the zoo. And so our theme is zoo and we're learning about zoo, but this child's working on social skills. Awesome. Let's come up with a whole bunch of social scenarios of different situations that might arise at the zoo and how we would solve those, right? So AI could generate those very specific practice materials. Also reading passages, very easy to theme as well. Now, I will say for me, I think the key I want to point out here is that it's very easy to get carried away with creating things on AI and then feeling like you have to store them and sort them and put them in binders and keep them in folders and on your shelves. And that's really not the point of using these kinds of AI things. The idea of using AI for this is that you want to create something in the moment that is relevant to what that child is talking about right now and is specific to the exact level that they're working on that skill at this moment and what they need, right? And so the chances are that you're going to need that exact topic of interest, that exact skill, that exact level in the future is pretty low. And if it did come to that, would you actually be able to find that exact material that you created 2 years ago for that other kid that had a similar interest? Probably not. And then you're going to have some crazy elaborate system that you're going to have to organize and keep track of. That is too much work. The beauty of using AI for this particular use is that you just create the thing in the moment and then let it go. You don't need to print it. You don't need to save it. It just exists to help you facilitate that session. All right. So what that looks like inside our program, for those of you who are our members, we have our AI-based prompt generator. And so that's what it is. It's a prompt generator, not a worksheet generator, right? I don't want you to take those with you and store them. It is just in the moment, you put in what the skill is they need to work on and what topic or theme you want it to be located around, centered around, and it will generate whatever you ask for, a word list, a picture, a reading passage, a social scenario, and that's it. You use it and then you let it go, right? We're not creating extra work or clutter for us. We are just having the AI help us come up with examples. Now the other thing that we have, I have that one next on my list. Okay, so we'll stop there for number 1 is AI. Number 2 then is to have one activity that you can use with all of your kids that is some sort of a themed activity. I like paper, so I like to have these as a printable worksheet that you can use that's not specific to each skill that they're working on. All right. So the old way is you go on Teachers Pay Teachers and you say, okay, it's zoo themed. So now I need a zoo themed activity for articulation, a zoo themed activity for my language kids. I need a zoo themed activity for verbs or past tense or pronouns or whatever we're working on. And then you end up with all this stuff, right? So the alternative here is, could we come up with one activity or one game or one worksheet that is themed, but that everyone can use during your sessions that day, that week, and then you just change what you're working on. So, right, we have our AI create us a list of words or a picture or a reading passage or whatever it is for each client. As we're in those sessions, we're not doing this ahead of time because we're trying to not burn out, right? So you're pulling up the practice materials during the session, but you just have something in front of you. Maybe it's a board game that's based on that theme. Maybe it's a worksheet that's based on that theme, but it's something that everybody could do. Maybe it's a coloring page or a storytelling game, right? And so what this looks like for our members inside our hub is that we have every day, we put up a new themed worksheet that does just this. It is one worksheet that you could print for all of your clients for that day. And it's going to be based on a theme, and it's going to have activities that they can do to either practice their skill while they're doing the activity, or they practice their skill and then they use this as the reinforcer. All right. So for example, today is a pool party. So we have a worksheet in there today for Buttercup's pool party. And it's just, you roll a 20-sided dice and there's just a bunch of different prompts for what you could do related to a pool party. So you could do act out swimming, or pretend you're popping bubbles, or draw a floaty in the pool. So there's all these different prompts that you can use to just keep them having fun and on theme, right? So that it's related to the theme, but you can still be practicing whatever speech and language skill they're working on while you do that activity. So let's see. For us, we use our goal packets alongside these activities. That's the way our program is set up. So we have a packet for every goal that you might need to target in speech language therapy. So let's say we have a past tense verb packet. So you're working on past tense verbs from the packet, and then you just swap out the themed activity every day to keep it fun and fresh, but they're still working on the skill the same way from their packet. So hopefully that makes sense. All right, so number 1 was AI, using AI to generate practice materials. Number 2 is using one activity that's themed that you can use with all your clients instead of feeling like you have to come up with a themed activity for every client, right? Or something that requires a lot of prep. Hey, Renew, welcome. And so then our third way to use themes without burning yourself out is to have themed props. So this is where you're bringing in something that is based on a theme that, again, you can use with all your clients. So this might be a toy. It might be a game. It could be something that you're using to kind of help keep the theme going, help them relate what you're working on to the theme. But it's not necessarily something that you have to do a whole lot of prepping and planning for each and every client, right? So, this week we had our theme is summer. Hello, summer, because we're starting our summer here in Missouri. And so you can have a beach ball. And the beach ball can have some prompts on it. We did one for our make and take last week where we wrote prompts on a beach ball. And then you can just toss the beach ball back and forth. And whenever they catch it, whatever their thumb is on, that's the prompt they follow. Or it could just be throwing a beach ball back and forth in between practice reps, right? But we can be talking about summer and tying it into our theme. We did a carnival or field day, a game kind of theme a couple weeks back. And so we made a ring toss. So you could use the ring toss with all your clients while you're doing this game theme. We did our virtual field reps. We had a bus prop. We had a magic school bus. And so I said, grab whatever size cardboard box that you can find and make it into a school bus. It could be a little cardboard box that sits on your table, or it could be a big giant one that they can climb inside if you have access to that. So just being able to bring in something that is tied to that theme, but not necessarily a worksheet or a material that you have to use with, you have to make a new one for every client. And then also books. Books are great here too. So you can just bring in a book related to the topic, maybe one from their classroom, and then you can still be working on their speech and language skills, but while you're reading the book or asking them questions about the book, or they're retelling the book, or whatever that looks like for them. So those are our 3 steps for how do we use themes in such a way that it helps tie what we're teaching and learning to something relevant to their lives, but without feeling like we have to, go on Teachers Pay Teachers, print out all these worksheets and do the cutting it out and the laminating and the Velcroing and putting together these different activities and then switch out to an entirely different theme next week, right? That's a lot. So if we can just kind of tie these little pieces in or use the technology, that's a really great way to do that as well. All right, now I wanted to mention before we hop off, we do have our summer reset coming up. So this is for June and July of 2026. If you're listening to this in the future, we are doing a summer reset. So we are going to take 8 weeks and we are going to give you one small bite-sized assignment each week that's going to help you get set up with a system and tools and resources that are more efficient and help you teach speech and language skills. So whether you are teaching 1 child at home or 100 children or teens in your therapy room, we are going to give you the tools and the systems to set up now so that this can run on autopilot. It will not take extra time and effort from you. Everything will run smoothly and you'll be able to, enjoy what you do. Enjoy helping children and teens learn communication skills, and it doesn't have to be so stressful. So the 8 weeks is going to be 8 steps to becoming an unstressed speechie. That's what I'm calling it. So if you're familiar with the schwa, it is the sound. When we are writing down what a child says in phonetic alphabet, we use the schwa to indicate the unstressed meaning it's not presented in a stressed syllable. So we're going to be unstressed like the schwa, but we're going to be unstressed speechies. And you get to be an unstressed speechie whether you're a parent working on this at home or a teacher in the classroom or one of my SLPs, SLPAs, speech and language therapists, whatever we call ourselves. We're all speechies and we're all unstressed together and we're going to get there together. So here's the 8 steps that we're going to go through, the 8 weeks of assignments that I'm going to give you just so you have an overview. And then I'll tell you how to get in on the summer reset. So the first step is to transform your therapy sessions with our virtual therapy table. So I'm going to show you how to use that as a tool to run your sessions super quickly and effectively so that you are saving time on planning and prep so that you can use that to set up next week's assignment. So the second one will be slashing your planning and prep time in half with our monthly planning routine. And all of these are going to have systems and tools that are going to help you make this faster, right? So this isn't just me saying, oh, try it like this. I'm actually going to give you all the stuff too. Week 3 is streamline your data collection system. Week 4 is setting up your paperwork station for simplifying your admin tasks. Week 5 is going to be adopting our simplified system for session notes, progress notes, and billing. So I'm going to be giving you some tools, tech tools that are going to help make this process way, 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 way faster. Week 6 will be systematizing your IEP or your annual therapy plan process, being able to write new therapy plans quickly and effectively. Week 7 is going to be mapping out a system for referrals, screenings, and evaluations. We're going to have a whole flow for how that runs so that every time you get a referral, it just automatically goes into this system. Again, the system runs on autopilot. All you have to do is follow the steps and you get through that super quickly and easily. And then week 8, I'm super excited about this one, guys. Week 8 is overhauling your scheduling with our pre-built communication labs. So I'm going to give you a whole system for running these labs that's going to simplify your scheduling and your planning and your prep and help students make faster progress and help your whole team work more effectively. So that's coming on week 8. We're going to start introducing that new system and give you the tools you need for that. So super excited about all of that. That is all going to start on June 5th, 2026. So all you have to do to participate in our summer reset is just be a member, have an active membership to our SLK curriculum. So you can find that at hub.speechandlanguagekids.com. If you already have a subscription, a membership, then you're already in and you're good to go. If you don't, come on over and join us. There's a free 1-week trial. You can get set up. And then, like I said, we're going to start on June 5th. And then there's going to be a reward at the end. If you can get all the way through all 8 weeks with us, we'll have something that we're building up to that I'm super excited about as well. I don't want to give too much away, but we've got some really fun stuff planned for this summer. And the whole idea behind this is that this is not meant to take over your summer. It's not meant to give you a ton of work to do. It's going to be very manageable, very bite-sized. You'll just have a small assignment each week, and we'll be going through that together as a group inside the hub. You'll have our whole community behind you, backing you up as well. So I hope you guys can join us. Super excited about that. We will not have a make and take this week or a podcast next week as we get set up for all of the summer reset. And then we will hit the ground running June 5th. So stay tuned for more details on that. All right. Thank you all so much for joining me today. And we will see you next time on the Speech and Language Kids podcast. We will be in full summer reset mode on the next episode. So stay tuned and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.